Now Ayrshire Radio podcast presents Ayrshire Insights with Elliot Boyce.
Well, it's time for the local legend spotlight, and this week we're celebrating a businessman who's built one of Ayrshires fastest growing electrical companies by putting safety, trust and customer service at the heart of everything he does. Our local legend this week is Neil Claxton, the founder and managing director of Test My Electrics, based in Ayr. Neil, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me. It's brilliant to be here.
No, brilliant, thank you. Now, before we get into the business story, it is a Sunday. The kettles are on across Ayrshire. Well, maybe not the kettles because of the heat. So let's start with the important questions. On a Sunday, are you a tomato sauce or brown sauce man?
It's tomato for me.
Tea or coffee?
Neither. I'm a water person.
It says changing it there.
That's unusual for us in here. We normally it's coffee.
It's coffee, I know. And what is your perfect Sunday morning roll?
It's slice and tatty scone.
Can't beat it. Now, coming up, we're going to hear how Neil went from working for other electrical firms to building one of Ayrshire's most trusted electrical brands.
You're listening to Ayrshire Insights with Elliot Boyce.
Now Ayrshire Radio.
I'm chatting with this week's local legend, Neil Claxton, the founder and director of Test My Electrics. So, Neil, you were telling us a story there off air about the enemy. So, the band that just played there, tell us the story.
Well, I've seen the enemy, I think at this time it was 19 or 18 times. I've seen them 21 times, but we went VIP to see them at the garage in Glasgow. It was the night before we got married. So it's November 2015, the night before we get married.
We should remember.
And I know, that was a test there. And I just said to them, "Geez, we're getting married tomorrow," and they couldn't believe it. And they said, we'll pop down and see you. And I couldn't believe it. A wee brief appearance, but still something. And they also sent us a wedding gift as well, which is really cool. Nice.
There we go. That's one way to do it. And as a phrase I love to use, shy dogs don't get biscuits.
Yep.
Got to ask the question. Right, so Neil, let's start at the beginning. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Ayr.
And have you always been a sparky?
I briefly worked in LA Bowl, which surprisingly our office is right next door to that now, so it's like a big circle, a full circle now.
A full circle of life. So started off in LA Bowl, then went into electrical work. Have you always been a bit of a fanatic when it comes to being an electrician?
Yes, I'm a bit of a geek. I'll sit and watch YouTube videos of electricians at night time. It's quite sad really, but I do genuinely love the electrical industry. So
you spent years working for other electrical contractors before taking the leap and starting your own company. Launching a business is daunting at the best of times, but when did you do it?
2020, just after COVID, I returned to the company I worked for 11 years, and they were reducing everybody's wages. And I basically said, there's my notice. There's no point in me working for that and travelling an hour each way. And I decided to go local and built up from friends and family to word of mouth and spreading out the whole of Ayrshire now.
Was there that? What was the point that you kind of, the moment where you thought, right, I'm going to build this my way, this is the route I'm going to go down?
I think for me now, for previous companies, testing was my thing. I was really good at snagging. Even people that used to work alongside me have come up to me and said, working with you has actually helped me be a better electrician because of how strict you were on regulations. For me, it was all about safety. Now, we test a lot of other electricians' work, and not to slaughter anybody on the radio, obviously, but we see how bad it can be if people are maybe afraid and they don't care, or they've just not had the right equipment, they just chucked it in. We're strict. We like it to be precise and very, very high standards.
To be fair though, it's one of those things that you don't, I mean, I'm in no way, shape or form an electrician, but it's one thing you don't mess about with.
Correct.
And it's the one thing that in the house, it was like, because if it goes wrong, it can go really seriously wrong.
Yeah, I think most people say that. Electricity and gas is probably the two most dangerous things in your property, but I think people underestimate electricity. You can't see it, can't smell it, definitely can't touch it because you'll die. It's just so dangerous, so dangerous, and it really does require somebody with a good reputation. We've now got over 300 Google reviews, 5-star Google reviews, and I think that builds a lot of trust.
Yeah.
And your local electrician.
You've got to have trust in it. I mean, the one time that I tried any sort of form of electrical work, and I say tried, I was hanging out of my bedroom window to the outdoor light and electrocuted myself, bounced back in the window, I was lying in the floor, tried to shout for help to the missus down the stairs who didn't hear me, and I was like, oh my, and since that point I've never touched mains electricity. I actually went to hospital a few days later, went in to get testing, so I was like, it was a proper shock. And the only thing they actually flagged was the fact that, I think this was around about December time, they said, how much alcohol do you actually drink? I was like, it's New Year. It's nothing to do with the electricity. So that was the time that I had went in. But you're right, it's so important. I mean, when it goes wrong, it really can. So your philosophy and your focus on safety, compliance and customer trust, where did that come from? Has it just been instilled in you from a young age, or have you seen some of the devastating effects of where it can go wrong?
We have seen so many devastating things. Showers is a big problem. I think electric car chargers will be a big problem. Things that draw high power for a long period of time, that melts cables and creates fires. So I've seen the worst of the worst. I've seen house fires caused by electricity. I just think it's so important. The safety aspect of electricity is so important. I would, and I've been trying to campaign for this for a long time, is if you sell a property, I think you should have it tested before you sell it. Yeah.
And do you think as well, so now, with being an electrician, your qualifications and stuff that go along with it, you'll get people who are kind of the handymen and stuff and handywomen out there that will go out and do levels of work but maybe don't have the qualifications to back up. Is it a regulated industry?
It's not as regulated as gas is, which is a big downfall. But they have been campaigning for it. The Select, who's a UK accredited association, they're campaigning for it, and I know they were getting MPs to support it, and hopefully that will come good.
Yeah, because and as you mentioned there, I mean, wires heat, you might not see it behind the walls, and wires heating up, and if that goes, then you could be ending up with losing everything. Yeah,
that's why testing is so important. Getting your house tested or your business tested, it's so important, because a lot of it you can't see, it's all hidden in walls, but through testing you can find any issues that are underlying.
Absolutely right. We're going to talk more about the business side, Neil. We're going to do it just after this.
Tune in live every Sunday from 10 a.m. for Ayrshire Insights with Elliot Boyce.
Only on Now Ayrshire Radio.
Now Ayrshire.
We are still with Neil Claxton from Test My Electrics. Now, Neil, your business is growing rapidly in a relatively short space of time. What was the first big moment when you realised the company was really taking off?
That's a really good question, actually. I think, see, when people recommend you to their friends and family, and people actually phone you and say, I've heard you're the guy that will find this fault or this issue, then that's a big win for us. I think that shows that we've got a good reputation, and if you've got a fault, we'll find it.
That's one thing that I can see and hear the passion of electrics ripping out of you. Now, with that passion and you really being probably a tradesperson at heart, how did you find having to be the tradesperson but also the director, the business owner and the manager?
Up until recently, that has been my job. I have literally been HR, accountant, bookkeeping, everything, quoting, invoicing, but from the advice of my business mentor, Gregor Stewart from Stewart Temperature Solutions, shout out Gregor, great guy, he coaxed me to say, look, you're not a businessman, you're not the person this company needs, you need somebody to drive this forward and take control of the day-to-day running of the business. And I had somebody in mind for that, and he said, just pull the trigger, just get him in, hire him now, it's time to do it. And that has taken us, we've skyrocketed after that.
So that must have been, I mean, for any business owner, that must be quite a difficult decision to make. How did you feel having to make that, and when he first gave you that bit of advice?
I don't think it was any malice in how he said it, but it did hurt a little bit, saying that you're not the person for this business. But I'd built the business at this point, and I'd grown it and drove it to where it is, but I took it on the chin. I just took it the way it was meant to be and said, look, you're probably right, and if this does take us to the next level that I can't do, then fair enough, we'll just go for it.
So making that decision, and you know, it's speaking to other business people as well. It's especially in your line of work where you were a tradesperson. I mean, you were a Sparky,
yeah.
and you've been a Sparky. You've worked your way through, done the jump, probably a kind of one-man band type thing, to the point where it then starts growing staff, marketing, all the other nonsense that comes along with it, and bookkeeping to everything. Sometimes you've kind of just got to realise at that point, and Gregor's advice being that, do you know what, this is growing to a level where I know what I want. I know the standards of your business and the day-to-day running of your business will always need to have your ethos behind it, but the operational running of it, that's where it shifted. What does your day look like now?
So every day is different. For Testme Electrics, we can do EV chargers, solar, etc. like that, but now I'm strictly on the tools, apart from a Tuesday when I go out quoting. That's my whole day for quoting. I go out and see probably 16 people that day, a Tuesday. And a Friday, the guys and myself, we finish at 2 o'clock, and then after that I go in the office and just catch up with Alan and see how the week's went and see the numbers and stuff like that, and make sure that we're actually progressing and making money and being a business.
which is, and I'm guessing, talking about you as an individual in the business, how do you feel now in comparison to how you felt when you were trying to be the person of everything?
It's night and day. The weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I can go home and spend time with the kids and get my dinner with, my phone not ringing and stuff like that, and I genuinely can go to bed and sleep at night and not worry if I've done that, if I caught up with that, did all the materials for that, things like that. Like, I was literally doing the whole thing, but with the girls in the office, my wife does the marketing, and Alan doing the day-to-day running of the business. It's smooth sailing now, and honestly it's so much better for me mentally, and I'm able to relax at night. I'm just hoping, because I'm going on holiday October for my first time since having this, and I'm just hoping my phone doesn't ring when I go on holiday and I can actually have a holiday.
But that as well, it's another thing as well that, again, people probably struggle with, especially small businesses, albeit your business is kind of probably moving away from small business and starting to grow. It's trusting your team round about you. Yeah. And it's always difficult for people, especially when it did start off with a one-person operation to then grow, and it must be difficult to let that control go. But clearly with the introduction of Alan and the girls in the office and working through and getting that side of it working well is good. But you mentioned back to, and what I've always liked to turn down to, is the ethos of the business. Now, the ethos of the business was clearly about the standard of work, and how important that is. How do you find them when you're not maybe involved with a job and you're letting that go to your electricians? How did that go for you? Because that's your real critique point and something that you're so passionate about being right. What's the standards and how strict are you with those standards?
Oh, we're really strict. We have a customer relationship manager software that all the electricians use, and they upload pictures to this as well as the documentation. So we're certifying all the work and showing the pictures before and after. It's not really like a tradesman, but it's more of a service that you're getting. You can see before and after pictures. Alan and the girls in the office can see that all your certifications there, all the pictures before and after. You can see the standards of the work. You can see that we went above and beyond in every single job. And then obviously Alan's critiquing it before we invoice it. If anything's not right, genuinely, I would rather go back if it costs me money to make sure that our reputation's still the highest it should be. And also making, and I'm pretty sure, I can imagine with the type of person that you are with your standards, if someone was doing a bit of shoddy work, you'd be very quickly on them. Yes, 100%. They probably wouldn't be wearing your jumper, would they? No, definitely not. So you've built the company around specialist services, so it's like electrical safety testing, EICRs, consumer unit upgrades, full rewires, renewable energy installations. Was that deliberate from the beginning? No, it was genuinely going to be. So you'll notice the website's called testmyhouse.co.uk. I wanted to make Test My Electrics, Test My Water, Test My Gas, etc. But when I started Test My Electrics and seen the work involved, I was just, this is overwhelming. I think we just need to focus on electrical work here. But I've worked in compliance and testing for a very, very long time, and the testing part for me is just so important. I bet you could sit at home and say, when was the last time I had the electrics tested in this house? And you'll say never.
100%.
But you need to have it tested. Every 5 years you need to have your house tested.
What makes being a specialist different from being a general electrical contractor?
I think for us, it's the compliance side, the certification. We are constantly doing CPD training. The guys are going in August to do solar training. We've done EV charger training. We're constantly learning the regulations. The regulations change every 2 years. So you'll find if you've got your neighbour that can do electrical work, he's probably 15th edition or something. And we are 18th edition at Amendment 4. So it's a constant training that we're putting into the guys and keeping them compliant. And
you've got to invest heavily in the qualifications in order to keep yourself up there and also to know what the standards are.
Yeah.
Do you think the professional standards in the industry matter more now than ever before?
100%, especially with things like EV chargers and solar and renewable energy. These are very, very dangerous for your property. For instance, solar uses DC currents, and the DC currents, if that used to get electric shock of a DC cable, that's totally different from a 230 AC current plug. It's direct current, it will go right through you and you won't survive it.
Thankfully it was AC when I had my hand out the window.
Yeah. A wee heart check when you were in the hospital.
A wee ECG and I was all good. If you could change one thing about the industry today, what would it be?
I think you touched on it earlier, Elliot. It should be governed more, and you should have to, similar to, I think it's gas safe it's called nowadays, they keep changing the name of it. It should be similar to that, and you should be registered and have to register everything online. So when we do an EV charger, for instance, we submit the forms to Scottish Power for the customer, so that they basically don't want to give them more work than they need. But I bet you any money that not every electrical company does that.
Yeah, and you know, and you're right in what you say. You're not just wiring lights.
Yeah.
You're now starting to mess with the stuff that no house was ever used to before.
Exactly.
What I've been involved with electric vehicles is the fire engines, the EV fire engines, and the training that our team have gone through for that, and also that the safety equipment's absolutely terrifying because it goes with standard. As soon as they're working on the DC, the high voltage batteries, you've got to have the big hook in case they to drag them off on it. And I think at that point it's more of a token gesture. It's like just so you can give them something back rather than anything, but it's scary stuff.
Yeah, it really is scary. I do say it a lot. You can't see it, can't touch it, can't taste it, can't smell it, nothing. You just don't even know it's there.
You'd certainly feel it.
Oh, you definitely feel it if you touched it.
What's the strangest thing you've ever discovered while working in a property?
Well, I've seen a lot of things. Quite often, this is genuine, quite often we see lights wired in speaker cable. People add in wall lights where there used to be a speaker and they just keep the speaker cable and then plug it into a socket. Happens all the time.
A speaker cable?
Yeah.
So that, and for anybody that doesn't know, the thickness of
it's so thin. It's like 0.5 mil, I think.
So these are all the things, and probably, I mean, new build houses and stuff, you would like to think that in general they'll obviously be up to the latest 18th edition standard and looking at it. But if people before they were like buying a house and stuff, what would your call be? If you were buying a house, what would you say to somebody to give them that peace of mind?
It's hard when you're buying a house. This is why I say that if you're selling a house, you should have to test it. But if you've just bought a house, then before you decorate and stuff like that, get it tested before, because you don't want to decorate the full house and put nice flooring down and then something goes wrong. You call us because I've got something tripping and then you need a rewire. What, ripping your floor back up.
What's the general cost to actually like check somebody's house?
It's actually really reasonable. So it goes by circuits. So obviously, if it's got a house that's got 20 circuits, it's going to take a lot longer than a house that's got 8 circuits. But if you've got 8 circuits in your property, it will take about 2 hours to 2.5 hours, and it'll be £162, including that.
Well, that's something I was going to touch on as well, with the fact of you've got the cost of that, but then if you look at your cost of a home report, you could be £600-700 for that.
Exactly.
So how much more really is it? So listen, the time is going to fly through, as we said.
Now streaming
Ayrshire Insights, hosted by Elliot Boyce.
This is Now Ayrshire Radio.
We are still with this week's local legend, Neil Claxton, the founder of Test My Electrics. But first, Neil, it is time for Bargain of the Week. So what is the best thing you've managed to buy for a tenner or less?
I think this is a bit sad, but I bought a branded backpack off of Temu. It was £7 something. It was great.
Is that the bag you're really excited about in the corner there? Brilliant. Right, I want to talk about your people, because businesses are built around their people.
Yeah.
One thing that stands out about your business is the kind of family feel and the culture you've built around your team. You've got family members involved in the business and a team that clearly enjoys working together. How important has company culture been to the success of Test My Electrics?
It's the driving force of Test My Electrics. We are definitely a family, a really, really close-knit team. We go on days out together to the races and take them in good nights out and stuff. I'll not divulge too much about the nights out, like, but honestly, the team's fantastic. We've recently promoted Davey to senior electrician, so he's a go-between between the electricians and apprentices and the office.
Talking about apprentices, something that I am a massive advocate of. I think it's a great way to get people into work quickly, but also learning trades is so important.
Yeah.
How important do you feel your apprenticeship programme is?
Oh, I love it. I think the moulding or mentoring a young tradesman is fantastic. We have a first, a second and a third year electrician apprentice. I think if you want somebody that's going to come work for you and have your high standards, it's better to train them yourself and develop them the way you want to develop them. Our third year, Josh, he's got a van and he's out and about doing wee jobs himself and then helping the other electricians on bigger jobs, and he's learning to think on his feet and go in and work out, how am I going to wire this? I don't want to destroy this person's house.
Yeah. How
do we hide this cable? And he's trying to think for himself and discover how you would leave the best job possible.
And that's where it's been so important for you in terms of the ethos. Now, one thing that I noticed, I was having a look through your website. You've all got nicknames. You're the big dog.
Big dog, yeah.
Big dog. But we've got Kiggs.
That's my wife, Kaylee. Yeah.
The OG Jeff.
That's my son. That's Aaron.
Jeff 2.
Jeff 2 is Aaron Graham.
Aldo.
Aldo's Alan McHagg. Yeah, that's the manager.
The country boy.
Billy Campbell.
We've got Dan the man.
Dan the man. Dan is, if you've ever met Dan, he's the nicest guy in the whole world. I love him.
It's brilliant looking. These. I'm going to ask you about it. So you've got Davey,
yeah,
D-Dog, Dunk the Hunk, Gio, and Jeff 3. Where did the names come from?
So my son, the OG Jeff, he looks like Jeffrey Dahmer. So he get called Jeff. So he got called Jeff, and then we took an apprentice on and he was Jeff 2, and then we had an apprentice and he's Jeff 3.
I didn't expect the show to say this, Tom. Right. So
that's where Jeff came from.
There we go. Right, well, it's good to know that.
And we actually did a wee promotion saying nothing beats a Jeff 2 holiday.
There we go. Big shout out to our friends at Thorn Travel and Jeff 2 Holidays as well, by the way. They take us to Ibiza every year.
Oh, that's legend.
Right, we've seen you're involved in local business community through organisations like the Ayrshire Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
How important is supporting local business and keeping opportunities here in Ayrshire?
I'm a great advocate for Ayrshire. I think that, I'll give you a good example, talking about apprentices. I don't think that these young people that are going to, obviously university's a good thing, but you don't need to go outside of Ayrshire to be successful. You can stay in Ayrshire and grow a massive or a nice wee business that will make you successful in life, and you don't need to leave Ayrshire at all.
What do you think about Ayrshire as a whole anyway? It's an interesting, unique and just a brilliant place, isn't it?
I genuinely love Ayrshire. I'm an army brat. My dad was in the RAF for 37 years, so I've travelled all over the world, and when we moved to the RAF base in Troon, Irvine, Brassy, whatever you want to call it, it was definitely home for us, and we didn't move after that. And I've been here since I was 7 years old, and I love the place, and I think it's the people that make Ayrshire genuinely.
Yep. That's what it's all about. Listen, we're going to play a game called 5 Fast Ones. Going to do it after this.
This is the Ayrshire Insights podcast with Elliot Boyce.
Now Ayrshire.
I'm with Neil Claxton, the founder of Test My Electrics, and it is time for 5 Fast Ones. So Neil, quick answers only. Don't think about it, just shout out the first answer that comes to your head, alright? Ready to play 5 fast ones?
I'm
right,
ready.
Let's do it. Manchester United or Ayr United?
Oh no, Ayr United.
And then the question is, Man City or Kelly? What wins is your least favourite?
Yeah, I'm going to be biased towards Ayrshire and say Man City.
There we go. Listen, that works for me as a Kelly, as a
Somebody's done their research, I don't like that.
I know, listen, that you can thank producer Chris in the corner there. What's your favourite takeaway?
Chinese.
Best thing about Ayrshire?
People, definitely.
What's your favourite? A consumer unit upgrade or a full rewire?
Oh, you make my money in a full rewire.
Think of the pennies. And who plays you in a movie of your life?
Either Kevin Bridges or Grado.
There we go, big Grado, there we go. Right, brilliant answers. Now, let's look ahead. What is next for Test My Electrics?
We would like to create a podcast. We're going to create a podcast called Beyond the Wires. We'd like to interview people in the community, local businesses, not just electricians, but tradesmen, business owners, people that are community leaders, and just talk about Ayrshire, really.
What would you give of advice to somebody that's thinking about starting their own trade business?
Do it. I would take the jump. You can, obviously when it gets a bit much, it can be daunting, but you can work your own hours and you can take a day off for the school fun day or the sports day and stuff like that. You can do your own thing as well. You don't have to answer to them days, but I'm getting at there.
Scott, what you do now?
I do.
You've got Alan.
And he's making me work. But
you mentioned that.
He gave me a quote on Friday in Giffnock at 3:30 on Friday. I nearly cried. I did say I wasn't going. You can go yourself, but it didn't work. I had to go.
You're going. Listen, and you've got to have somebody strong that's pushing that on and allowing you to go out there and do what you love.
Yeah.
And getting everything going. Now, finally, what's one thing you'd like to see for Ayrshire's future?
I think probably the business rates is a big factor in Ayrshire. We need to have a look at, if you want to keep businesses here, you need to look at the business rates and what the councils are asking. If you reduce that, I think more businesses will come here and will stay here. It
is certainly tough out there. Any support that can be available, the better. I'm actually just looking out the window. There is a collection of children out the back. I think
they're not mine.
They're not all yours. I'm just looking outside the studio window just now, and there's an absolute team of people out there just now. I think there's a bit of a fun day going on. I don't even know, an unofficial fun day.
Yeah, I've rented out the live lounge. There's 5 ahead in there. It's a business show after all.
Absolutely. Listen, you've got to keep your business going. Neil, listen, great story. Really wish you all the very, very best.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
In your business, and appreciate you coming and giving up your Sunday for this. This has been this week's local legend, Neil Claxton of Test My Electrics.
This is the Ayrshire Insights podcast.
Never miss an episode. Hit subscribe now.